I never thought the day I'd surprise her would be the day my soul cracked open. I remember gripping the steering wheel, my palms sweating even though the air conditioner was on full blast. The new car smelled like victory, leather, freedom, and hard work. I had finally made it. 2 years of sleepless nights, coding in a tiny apartment, eating noodles for dinner. All for this moment, for her. Noah, I said over the phone, I'm doing it today. I'm telling Lena about the app. She's gonna freak out. Noah laughed. Bro, you're finally showing her the car too? Yeah, I said, glancing at the mirror, fixing my hair. I'll park outside the library. She's studying there. She thinks I'm still broke. Wait till she sees. Man, you're too soft, he sighed. You love too hard. Just don't expect too much, okay? I chuckled. You've said that since high school. She's different. Different girls don't hide you from their friends, he said quietly. Come on, Noah. She's just private. Private? Or ashamed? I didn't answer. I ended the call with a half smile, half doubt hanging in my chest. The university parking lot shimmered under the afternoon sun. Rows of shiny cars lined up like trophies. I found an empty spot, parked, and stepped out, adjusting my jacket. The car gleamed behind me, metallic gray, elegant. I imagined her face lighting up, that soft gasp she made whenever she was happy. I started walking toward the library, then stopped. Her voice drifted across the lot, soft, familiar, and wrapped in laughter. I turned. She was leaning against a car identical to mine. Ethan Cole stood in front of her, his hands on either side of her, his perfect hair catching the light. Everyone at school knew him, the rich kid, the charmer. I blinked. No way. I stepped closer, slow, almost cautious, like my body was warning me not to. Ethan, she giggled, brushing his shoulder. You're so bad. I'm not bad, he said, his voice low. Just lucky to have you. My chest tightened, then she said it. The line that burned itself into my bones forever. You're so much better than Adam. Something inside me cracked so loud I thought people could hear it. I froze, my hand half raised like an idiot trying to catch air. Ethan leaned closer. Then forget about him, she smiled. I already have. Their lips met and time stopped. For a second, I felt nothing. Then everything. The air vanished. My throat burned. My body forgot how to move. When they pulled apart, she laughed softly, resting her head on his chest. You sure your dad won't mind me riding in his car? He smirked. It's mine now. He just doesn't know yet. My knees almost buckled. That was my car. My license plate, my keychain hanging from the rear mirror, my everything. I took one shaky breath and whispered, No, it can't be, but it was. I stumbled back and leaned against another car, my hands gripping the cold metal. My brain screamed to walk away, but my heart just stood there, bleeding in silence. Noah's voice echoed in my head. You love too hard. I turned and walked off before they saw me. My feet felt heavy, like the ground was pulling me down. At the corner of the lot, I stopped again. I could still see them from a distance, her laughing like she used to with me, and him playing the role I once had. I called Noah. He picked up instantly. Yo, did you tell her? I couldn't speak. Only the sound of my breathing came through. Adam? She's with him, I said quietly. In my car. He went silent. What? She kissed him, a pause. Then, you sure it wasn't just, I heard her, Noah. She said he's better than me. He sighed deeply. I told you, man. I told you she wasn't worth it. My throat tightened. Don't say that. Why not? You worked your ass off for her, and she, I don't want to talk about it. You have to. No. My voice broke. I need air. I hung up. I walked aimlessly, past the fountain, past the laughing students. Every face looked like it was mocking me. My chest ached and my mind replayed the same image over and over, her lips on his. By the time I reached the edge of campus, the sun had dipped low. I sat on a bench staring at nothing. Hey, Adam, her voice again. I turned. She was walking toward me, smiling like nothing had happened. You're here, she said, flipping her hair. Why didn't you text me? I swallowed hard. I was busy, she tilted her head. With what? Just life, she laughed. Still trying to make that app work? I nodded slowly. Yeah, still trying, she rolled her eyes. You should quit and find a real job. Dreams don't pay bills. Something inside me twisted. You used to say you believed in me, she shrugged. I used to believe in Santa too, my hands clenched. You're cruel, Lena, she smiled faintly. I'm honest, I wanted to shout to tell her what I saw, but I didn't. I just stared at her, memorizing the face I once called home. Anyway, she said, glancing at her phone. Ethan's picking me up soon. Can you move your car? You're parked near his spot, I stared. His spot? She nodded, typing a message. I almost laughed. You mean my car, Lena? She looked up, confused. What? My car. The one you were in. The one you kissed him in. Her face went pale. You saw? I nodded, her mouth opened, closed. Adam, it's not what you think. Then what is it? I asked softly. You were testing how betrayal feels? She reached for my arm. Please listen, I stepped back. Don't touch me, her eyes glistened. I didn't mean to. Stop lying, I cut her off. You knew what you were doing. You just thought I'd never find out, she bit her lip. You never had time for me anymore. You were always working. So I could give you everything, I said, including that car. Her mouth trembled. I thought it was Ethan's. Yeah, I whispered. You did. Silence stretched between us, sharp and heavy. Then she said the one thing that ended whatever feeling I had left. He's richer, Adam. You can't blame me for wanting more. I laughed, bitter and hollow. Then I hope you find everything you're looking for, just not in me. Her eyes softened, maybe regret, maybe fear. Adam, go, I said. Ethan's waiting. She hesitated, then turned away. I watched her walk back toward the parking lot, her heels clicking like gunshots against my chest. When she reached the car, my car, Ethan opened the door for her. She smiled, pretending nothing had happened. I stood there until the car disappeared from sight. When the sound faded, I finally whispered, Goodbye, Lena. Noah found me an hour later, sitting on the same bench, staring at the empty road. Man, he said softly. You okay? I smiled weakly. I'm alive. That's not the same thing. I looked at the stars above, their light distant but still burning. Maybe it will be, someday. He sat beside me silent. The night breeze carried the faint smell of gasoline and betrayal. That day, something in me died quietly, something soft, trusting, stupid. And from its ashes, something colder began to grow. I didn't know it yet, but that was the day the old Adam Malik stopped existing, and the new one was just being born. I used to think silence was strength, but silence can also be weakness, and I learned that the hard way. Everywhere I looked, their faces were plastered together. Ethan and Lena, the perfect couple. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Photos, tags, captions. Noah dropped his backpack on my couch one evening and tossed his phone toward me. You seen this? I sighed, probably. They post every 5 minutes, he leaned closer. Bro, it's trending. They're calling them the campus couple goals. I didn't look. I just said good for them. Good for them? He repeated. She dumped you a week ago. In your car. She didn't dump me, I muttered. She replaced me, he shook his head. Same difference, I rubbed my eyes. I'm tired, Noah, I can't fight every picture. Then let me do it. I'll post the truth, how she cheated. No. I looked at him sharply. Don't. I won't give them the satisfaction. He crossed his arms. You're protecting her? After what she did? I'm protecting myself, I said quietly. If I scream, I look bitter. If I stay silent, I look strong, he scoffed. You look heartbroken. Maybe, I admitted. But at least I still have dignity. The room went quiet. Outside, rain hit the window like small fists. Noah finally sighed. You're a good guy, Adam, too good. I smiled faintly. That used to mean something. The next day at university, I tried to focus on class. Professor Ellis was explaining something about systems architecture, but my mind wandered. My phone buzzed again, another photo. Ethan's arm around Lena, her smile wide, perfect. Mr. Malik, Professor Ellis said suddenly, snapping me out of it. Would you like to join us in the real world? The class chuckled. Sorry, I said. I was just not paying attention, as usual, he interrupted. You know, Adam, potential means nothing without focus. I bit back my reply. Yes, sir. Good, he said, turning to the board. Now, back to our discussion. Ethan whispered loud enough for everyone to hear. Maybe if Lena sat next to him, he'd focus better. Laughter rippled through the room. My hands clenched under the desk. I stared straight ahead, pretending his words didn't sting. Professor Ellis frowned. "Enough, Mr. Cole," Ethan smirked. "Just joking, sir." "Jokes require humor," the professor said flatly. The class laughed again, but this time at him. After class, I packed my things fast, hoping to escape before Ethan or Lena said anything. But of course, fate hates peace. "Hey, Adam," Ethan called. He was standing near the door, his arm around Lena. "Nice car you had. Too bad you couldn't keep it." I met his eyes. "What do you want, Ethan?" "Nothing," he said, smirking. "Just thought you'd want to know Lena and I are doing great." Lena avoided my gaze. Her silence said enough. I forced a calm tone. "Glad to hear it," he laughed. "Really? You don't seem glad." I turned to leave. "You'll understand someday." "Understand what?" he asked. "How fast things change when lies run out," I said, and walked away. I didn't look back, but I heard Lena whisper, "Stop it, Ethan." That night, I sat alone in my apartment. My laptop screen glowed, lines of code reflecting off my tired eyes. But even my work couldn't drown the noise in my head. Every notification was a knife. Every post of theirs felt like a performance designed just to break me a little more. I opened one photo. They were in front of the same coffee shop Lena and I used to visit every Friday. The caption read, "New beginnings with the right person." I closed my eyes. "The right person," I whispered bitterly. My phone buzzed again. A message from Sarah, my younger sister. Sarah. "Hey, you okay? Mom said you've been quiet lately." Me. "Just busy." Sarah. "Busy or sad?" Me. "Both, Sarah. You don't have to act strong for me." "I know you, Adam." I stared at the screen for a moment before typing, "Me. I'm fine, kiddo." "Just figuring life out," she replied instantly. Sarah. "Don't lose your heart over someone who couldn't see it." I smiled. Even miles away, she still knew how to hit the truth. The next week, Ethan's arrogance grew like a weed. He started parking in my old spot, mocking me in subtle ways. Lena just stood there, pretending not to notice. One morning, he approached me at the vending machine. "Hey man, want to grab a coffee? Talk like adults?" I didn't answer. He grinned. "Come on, no hard feelings." "You were just practice." I turned slowly. "Practice?" "Yeah," he said. "She told me you were sweet but boring. Said you'd never make it big." My jaw tightened. "You talk too much, Ethan," he shrugged. "Maybe, but I always win. Enjoy it," I said. "Winning's temporary. Character isn't," he laughed. Spoken like a loser, I didn't reply. I just walked off. Every word he said felt like gasoline poured on a quiet fire inside me. Later that day, I ran into Lena near the library. She was alone for once, scrolling through her phone. "Lena," I said. She looked up, startled. "Adam, hey. Do you ever think about what we were?" I asked. She hesitated. "Sometimes." "Then why?" Her voice lowered. "Because I got tired of waiting. You were always working, always dreaming. I was building something real. I needed something now," she said softly. "Then you got it," I replied. "A man who plays rich." Her eyes flickered. "He loves me." "Or the way you look standing next to his car." "Stop," she whispered. "You don't know him." "I know enough," I said. "And deep down, so do you." She bit her lip. "You think you're better than him?" "No," I said. "Just more honest." For a moment, silence hung heavy. Then she said, almost sadly, "You always made me feel guilty for wanting more." "I made you feel loved," I corrected. "You confused it for control." She looked away. "You're still angry." "I'm not," I said. "I'm learning." Her brows furrowed. "Learning what?" "That people wear masks, and sometimes they fit too well." Before she could answer, Ethan appeared, slinging his arm around her shoulder. "Everything okay, babe?" She nodded quickly. "Yeah, just talking." He smirked at me. "You really should stop chasing what's gone, Adam. It's sad." I smiled faintly. "Don't worry, I'm not chasing. I'm watching." "Watching what?" "How karma works." He frowned. "What's that supposed to mean?" I walked past them. "You'll find out." The days blurred into weeks. Every time I saw them, the anger faded a little, replaced by something colder. Clarity. I stopped checking their photos. I started working again, harder than before. Noah noticed. "You look different," he said one night. I am, I replied. He studied me. Still thinking about her? Not the same way. How then? Like a lesson, I said. A painful, expensive lesson, he grinned. Guess tuition for heartbreak's high. Worth every tear, I said quietly. He nodded. So what now? I watch, I said. And wait, for what? For truth. It always shows up late, but it never misses the party. He laughed softly. Man, you're turning philosophical. Maybe just patient. That night, lying in bed, I stared at the ceiling, the city lights flickering through the window. My heart still ached, but it beat steadier. The silence wasn't weakness anymore, it was strategy. People thought I'd broken down, but really I was rebuilding. Piece by piece, without noise, without announcements. And every time I closed my eyes, I saw their smiles, fake and hollow, held together by the same lies that tore me apart. But I didn't hate them anymore. I didn't need to, because I knew now, karma doesn't need an invitation. After everything, I needed noise to drown the silence, the kind of noise only work could make, so I buried myself in it. Most nights, the glow of my laptop was the only light in my apartment. Lines of code danced on the screen, and every click felt like stitching my soul back together. I didn't eat much. I didn't sleep much. I just worked. Noah dropped by once, holding 2 cups of coffee. You look half dead, man. I didn't look up. Half dead is progress. He placed the cup beside me. You're obsessed. Obsession builds empires, I said. Distraction ruins them. He raised an eyebrow. And heartbreak? Fuel, I muttered. He sighed. You can't run from it forever. I'm not running, I said, typing faster. I'm upgrading, he laughed softly. You sound like one of your apps. Maybe I am. We sat in silence, the sound of typing filling the room. For once, silence didn't hurt. It healed. A week later, I got an unexpected email. A man named Mr. Raymond Kahn, an investor, wanted to meet. I thought it was spam at first, but Noah checked the name. He's legit, he said. Big tech investor. You serious? I don't know, I said. Why me? Maybe he sees what I see. And what's that? Someone about to blow up or burn out. That stung. Probably because it was true. When I walked into Mr. Kahn's office, the smell of money hit me. Polished floors, quiet air conditioning, walls lined with awards. He sat behind a glass desk, calm and confident. Adam Malik, he said, smiling. The young man who doesn't know how to give up. I try not to, I replied, shaking his hand. He gestured for me to sit. I read your proposal. Interesting concept, AI-driven productivity mapping. You built this alone? Every line of code, I said. He leaned back. And why? I paused. Because I was tired of watching life pass me by. He smiled faintly. Good answer. Tell me, what drives you now? Pain, I said without hesitation. He studied me quietly, then nodded. Pain can be powerful. Dangerous too. Handle it well and it'll build you. Mishandle it and it'll destroy you. I'll handle it, I said firmly. He leaned forward. Then I'll back you. My heart skipped. You mean fund me? Yes, he said simply. $50,000 to start. But I invest in people, not just products. Don't make me regret it. I won't, he smiled. Good. Then go build something the world can't ignore. When I walked out of that office, something inside me shifted. Hope, maybe, or defiance. Either way, it was alive again. Noah nearly shouted when I told him. 50 grand? Dude, that's insane. Mr. Kahn believes in the project, I said, trying to sound calm, but my voice trembled. He believes in you, Noah said. You've got this, bro. I smiled, small but real. Maybe I do. Days turned into weeks. I lived inside that app, writing, testing, debugging. Coffee replaced water. My phone gathered dust. For the first time, I wasn't haunted by Lena's name until she showed up again. I was walking across campus, late for a meeting, when I heard her voice behind me. Adam? I turned. Lena stood there in a new designer dress, her hair perfect, her expression unreadable. Hey, I said flatly. You're hard to find these days, she said, smiling lightly. Maybe I'm not worth finding, she frowned. That's not what I meant. Then what did you mean? I just wanted to talk. About what? How perfect your life is now. Her lips tightened. You really hate me, don't you? I don't, I said. I just don't feel anything anymore. That's a lie, she said quietly. I laughed. You'd be surprised what betrayal cures. She crossed her arms. Ethan said you're working on some big project. He says it's a waste of time. I smiled. Of course he does. People with no vision always think that. She looked annoyed. You're different. Good, I said. I like different. Adam, she sighed, I didn't mean to hurt you. Yes, you did, I said. You just didn't think it would matter. She looked away. You make it sound like I'm a villain, I shrugged. Everyone's a villain in someone else's story, she sighed again, frustrated. You always talk in riddles. Maybe you just stopped listening. Before she could reply, a voice interrupted. Maya Torres. Her cousin. Lena, Maya said, walking up. Professor Ellis is asking for you. Lena hesitated, then turned to me. I guess I'll see you around. You won't, I said. She blinked, then walked off. Maya lingered. You're Adam, right? Yeah, she lowered her voice.
She talks about you sometimes.
Says she didn't mean for things to end that way. I looked at Maya. Tell her she doesn't need to explain. The past already did. Maya smiled faintly. You're calmer than I expected. Calm people are the most dangerous, I said. She tilted her head. Then I'll warn her. Please do. That night, I worked till sunrise. Every click, every line of code felt like revenge, but not the ugly kind. The quiet kind. The kind where you win without saying a word. 2 months later, the app launched. Mr. Khan invited me to a small investor dinner. I hated suits, but I wore one anyway. Adam, he said, greeting me with a firm handshake. You did well. The early numbers look promising. Thank you, sir. Tell me, he said. What keeps you going now? Failure, I said. It reminds me what's at stake. He nodded approvingly. Keep that fire, but control it. During dinner, I overheard investors talking about Ethan. His father's company was struggling. Rumors of debt. Failed projects. It made me wonder, was karma really that punctual? Noah called later that night. You seeing this? What? Ethan's all over social media. Debt scandals, fake business deals. Dude's drowning. I leaned back, sipping my coffee. Told you. People always show you who they are, eventually. And Lena? She'll learn too, I said softly. Everyone learns. 2 days later, I saw her again near the cafeteria. She was laughing with some friends, but her smile didn't reach her eyes. When she saw me, she froze. Adam, she said, forcing a smile. Congratulations on your app. Big news. Thanks, I said simply. You must be proud. I am, I said. Not of what I built, but of who I became building it. She laughed weakly. You always had a way with words. I had to, I said. It was the only way to survive you. Her face fell. You still hate me? No, I said. I just finally understand you. What's that supposed to mean? It means, I said, you'll always chase the next best thing until you realize love wasn't supposed to be a competition. She went quiet. Then she said, almost whispering, you'll always be the boy who dreams but never wins. I smiled. Funny, I was thinking the same thing about you, she frowned. What's that supposed to mean? It means, I said, stepping closer, the race isn't over. You just stopped running. She stared at me for a long second, then turned away. Good luck, Adam. I don't need luck, I said. I have work. That night, as I stared at my laptop screen, I realized something strange. I wasn't angry anymore. Not at her, not at Ethan, not even at myself. I had found something stronger than revenge. Purpose. Noah called again before midnight. You sound weirdly peaceful. I think I'm finally awake, I said. He laughed. You mean you're healed? Not healed, I said. Evolved. He was quiet for a moment. So what now? Now, I said, smiling, I build higher. From ashes to ambition. The call ended. The city outside buzzed with life, and for the first time in months, I felt like I was part of it again. The pain hadn't vanished. It had just changed shape. And somewhere deep down, I realized that transformation doesn't happen when you forgive others. It happens when you outgrow them. Success doesn't announce itself. It just walks in quietly and rearranges your life. Months passed and my app exploded online. One viral review led to another. Emails flooded in. Investors wanted meetings. Journalists wanted interviews. Suddenly, the name Adam Malik was everywhere, the boy who built success out of heartbreak. Noah couldn't stop grinning. "You're a legend now," he said, slapping my shoulder. "I'm just working," I said. "Working?" He laughed. "You just got featured on TechWorld's homepage." "Good," I said, sipping coffee. "That means more downloads," he leaned back. "You're seriously immune to excitement." "I've had worse addictions," he nodded. "Fair, so what's next? A vacation? A girlfriend who doesn't betray you?" I smiled faintly. "Neither. I'm buying a car," he raised an eyebrow. "Again?" "The same model," I said, "but this time not for love." He studied me for a second. "Closure?" "Exactly. When I drove it for the first time, I didn't feel pride. I felt calm, like I'd finally rewritten that memory. The engine purred beneath me, steady, confident, everything I wasn't back then. Mr. Khan called the next day. "Adam, you've done well," he said. "How does it feel?" "Surreal," I admitted. "Enjoy it," he said. "You earned it," I hesitated. "What if it disappears?" He chuckled. "Then build something again. You know how now." Those words stuck with me. Maybe success wasn't about keeping things. It was about knowing you could start over if you lost them. A few weeks later, fate decided to test that calm. Noah and I stopped by a cafe near campus. I hadn't been there since the old days. I ordered black coffee and sat by the window, scrolling through emails. Then I heard her laugh, that same familiar sound that once lit my world on fire. I looked up. Lena. She stood outside the cafe, holding Ethan's arm. He looked thinner, paler. His expensive jacket couldn't hide the tension in his face. Noah followed my gaze. "Oh boy," he muttered. "Here we go." "I'm fine," I said quietly. He smirked. "Sure, that's why your jaw just locked." I ignored him. Outside, Ethan handed his card to the cashier at the outdoor terminal. She swiped it, frowned, and shook her head. "Try again," Ethan said. Louder this time. The machine beeped, declined. Again. People started watching. Lena whispered something to him, her eyes darting nervously. He snapped, "I said try again." The cashier looked uncomfortable. "Sir, it's not working," Ethan cursed under his breath. Lena tugged his arm. "Stop, people are looking. I don't care," he barked. The moment felt surreal, like watching a scene from a movie I'd already seen, but with a better ending. Noah leaned closer. "You still fine?" "I'm perfect," I said. Ethan stormed off toward the parking lot. Lena followed, her heels clicking fast. I felt something inside me, maybe curiosity, maybe closure, pull me to the door. "Don't," Noah warned. "I have to," I said, standing. Outside, Ethan was yelling into his phone. Lena stood beside him, silent, her arms folded. "Dad, I said send the money now," he shouted. "My card's not working." His voice cracked, desperate. Lena noticed me before he did. Her face froze. For a second, guilt flashed across her eyes like lightning. "Adam," she said softly. I stopped a few feet away. "Lena!" Ethan turned, squinting. "Oh great, it's you." I looked at him calmly. "Still borrowing cars, Ethan?" He scowled. "Still bitter?" "No," I said. Just observant, Lena stepped forward. "Adam, can we talk?" "You already did," I said. "That day. In my car." Her mouth opened, then closed. "It wasn't like that. It was exactly like that," I said. "And that's okay. You made your choice." She looked down. "You hate me." "I don't," I said. "You taught me the difference between love and illusion." Ethan laughed bitterly. "Wow, poetic. You should write quotes for Instagram." I smiled faintly. "Maybe I will. They seem to work for people like you." "Watch it," he snapped. "Or what?" I asked. "You'll max out another card?" His face reddened. "You think you're better than me because you got lucky?" I stepped closer. "No, I think I'm better because I learned." "Learned what?" "That people like you always fall eventually." He glared at me, his jaw tight. "You think I care what you say?" "Not really," I said. "But it looks like she does." He turned to Lena. She was staring at the ground, her eyes wet. "Lena, get in the car," he ordered. She didn't move. "Now." He barked. She looked up slowly. "Which one, Ethan? The one you borrowed? Or the one that got repossessed last week?" He froze. I blinked. For once, I didn't expect that. "Yeah," she said quietly. "I know," he glared at her. "You think you're better?" "No," she said. "Just done. People nearby were watching now." whispers spread. Ethan's face twisted with panic. He stormed off, pushing through the small crowd. Lena stood there, arms crossed, trying to breathe. I could see the shame eating her alive. I sighed. He's not worth it, she looked at me. And was I? Once, I said. Before you sold honesty for luxury, she bit her lip. I thought success meant comfort. It doesn't, I said. It means peace, she nodded slowly.
You look peaceful. I am, I said. Do you ever think about us?
Sometimes, I admitted. But only when I need motivation, she winced. That bad? No, I said softly. That useful, she smiled faintly through tears. You always had the last word. Not always, I said. Just today, a car pulled up, a black sedan. The driver leaned out. Miss Torres? Lena wiped her eyes. Yeah. Before she left, she said, I'm sorry, Adam. I really am. I looked at her for a moment, then smiled faintly. I know. She got into the car and it drove away. Noah came up behind me, whistling. Well, that was cinematic. I didn't plan it. Sure you didn't, he said, grinning. You just happened to be at the right cafe at the right time in the right car? I smiled. Maybe the universe likes symmetry, he laughed. Or karma. I looked at the road where Lena's car had disappeared. Same thing. We walked back to mine. The streetlights reflected off the hood like old memories resurfacing. Noah said quietly, So, closure? Yeah, I said. Closure, he nodded. Feels good? It doesn't feel, I said. It just settles, he glanced at me. You sure you're done with her? I looked up at the night sky. I was done the day she mistook my silence for weakness. He smiled. Then what now, Mr. Malik? Now, I said. I drive. The engine started, smooth and powerful. As we pulled away, the city lights blurred behind us. Noah said, You really changed, man. I smiled faintly. I had to. The world turned upside down. I just learned how to walk on the ceiling. Regret has a strange sound. It doesn't scream, it whispers. I heard it for the first time when my phone buzzed late one night. Unknown number. Adam, it's Lucas, Ethan's friend. Can we talk? I hesitated before replying. Sure, about what? Lucas. About the truth. We met the next morning at a quiet diner. He looked nervous, tapping his fingers against the table. Thanks for coming, he said. I almost didn't, I replied. I figured you were calling to defend your friend. He shook his head quickly. Not anymore. Why now? I asked. He sighed. Because I can't watch him drag more people down. I leaned back. So talk. He glanced around before speaking. Everything you thought about Ethan, multiply it by 10. He's a liar, Adam. The cars, the dinners, the luxury posts, none of it's real. I frowned. What do you mean? He maxed out his dad's credit cards, borrowed money from classmates, even sold fake investment deals. Lena thinks she was living in luxury, but she was living in debt. I exhaled slowly. And she doesn't know? She knows now, he said. She found out last week. They fought in public. He's been seeing other girls for months. My stomach twisted. She stayed that long? Ethan made her believe she owed him, Lucas said quietly. He told her she ruined his image when she cried in public. He's toxic, man, I nodded slowly. So you finally grew a conscience. He looked ashamed. Yeah, I should have spoken up sooner. Why didn't you? Because I envied him, he admitted. He had everyone fooled, even me. Silence hung between us. Then he said, She'll probably reach out to you. Lena? He nodded. She keeps saying she deserves one more chance. I gave a bitter laugh. She deserves peace. But not mine. He stared at me for a long moment. You've changed. I had to, I said. Pain doesn't disappear, it upgrades you, he smiled faintly. Guess that's why you're winning now, I didn't answer. Winning didn't feel like revenge anymore. It just felt quiet. Later that week, my inbox filled with invitations. One caught my eye, University Tech Summit, guest speaker, Adam Malik. Noah nearly dropped his phone when he saw it. You're serious? They want me to speak next Friday. At the same university that made fun of you? Yep, he grinned. That's karma signing a VIP pass. The auditorium smelled the same, polish, paper, and pretension. But this time, people looked at me differently. Professors who once doubted me now smiled too wide. Students whispered, pointing, some taking photos. Professor Ellis approached me near the podium. Mr. Malik, he said warmly, extending a hand. It's an honor to have you back. Thank you, I said. He chuckled. I must admit I underestimated you. Most people did, I said. Including me. He laughed softly. Then I'm glad you proved us all wrong. You're a living inspiration. Those words hit differently. Once I would have craved them. Now they just echoed. When I walked onto the stage, the crowd clapped. I stood before them. Same place, different man. 2 years ago, I began, I was sitting where you are, wondering if hard work really beats luck. It does, but not instantly. Life tests you, breaks you, and if you're lucky, rebuilds you stronger. Applause followed. I smiled briefly, then continued. Success doesn't come from talent. It comes from the nights no one claps for you. After the speech, dozens approached me, shaking hands, asking questions. Among them, I saw her, Lena, standing near the back, alone, hesitant. Our eyes met. She didn't move, but her gaze said everything. Fear, guilt, longing. I turned away. Noah found me later outside. She's here, he said. I saw. She wants to talk. I don't. He shrugged. You sure? I've already had that conversation in my head 100 times. It always ends the same, he nodded. Then let it end for real. That night, as I was leaving the building, I heard footsteps behind me. Adam, I stopped. Her voice trembled, raw. Lena, I said quietly. She stepped into the streetlight. Her makeup was smudged, her eyes swollen. Please, don't walk away. I was about to. Just a minute. I sighed. 1. She took a deep breath. I made a mistake. No, I said softly. You made a choice, she winced. You don't understand what he did to me. I understand perfectly. He treated you the way you treated me. Tears welled in her eyes. He lied, Adam, about everything. The money, the business, the car. I know, I interrupted. Lucas told me. She looked shocked. You met him? Yeah, he said you'd reach out. She bit her lip. Did he tell you Ethan cheated? He did, her voice broke. He humiliated me. In front of everyone. I lost everything. I crossed my arms. Everything you built on someone else's foundation. Please, she whispered. Don't do this. Do what? I asked. Tell the truth? She shook her head. No, make me feel smaller than I already do. I sighed. You made yourself small when you chose him over loyalty. I thought I was choosing stability, she said. I was scared, Adam. You were chasing dreams. He had security, and now? I have nothing. Her honesty hit harder than her betrayal ever did. She wiped her tears. You were the only one who truly loved me. I looked at her, really looked at her. The same face that once haunted me now just looked tired. No, Lena, I whispered. I didn't love you. I loved who I thought you were. She shook her head. That's not fair. Neither was what you did, I said. But life balances things eventually. She stared at the ground. Do you ever think about us? Sometimes, I admitted. When I need to remind myself why I built walls. I miss you, she said quietly. You miss being loved, I corrected. There's a difference. She looked up. Can I have both? Not from me. Silence settled between us, thick and cold. She whispered, I'm sorry. I know. Can you forgive me? I hesitated. Forgiveness isn't a door you knock on and walk through, Lena. It's something you earn when you stop repeating the same sins. Her tears fell freely now. You sound so distant. I had to be, I said. Distance is the only reason I survived you. She stepped closer. You're colder now. Warmer, actually, I said. Just not for the wrong people. She let out a shaky laugh. You always have an answer. Not always, I said softly. But I learned to stop asking the wrong questions. She exhaled, defeated. He's gone, Adam. Ethan left the country. Good, I said. He was your mirror. Now you can see yourself clearly. She closed her eyes. You really won't let me try again? I shook my head. No, because this isn't about revenge anymore. It's about peace, she nodded slowly. Then I hope you find it. I already did, I said. She turned to leave, but stopped. I used to think success would make you arrogant. But it made you honest. I hate that, I smiled faintly. Truth usually hurts. After she walked away, I sat on a nearby bench. The street was quiet, the city lights reflecting off puddles. My heart didn't ache anymore. It just beat steadily, peacefully. Dr. Harper once told me, Closure isn't about fixing what broke. It's about accepting the pieces. I didn't believe her then. Now I understood. When I looked up, the stars seemed closer, like they'd been waiting for this version of me. Noah called later.
Did she talk to you?
Yeah, and? She finally saw her reflection. He laughed softly. And? I walked away, I said. For good this time? For peace, I corrected. He was quiet for a moment. You're different, man. Different doesn't mean healed, I said. It means aware, he sighed. So what now? Now, I said, standing, I start living. The night breeze felt lighter, almost forgiving. For the first time, I didn't feel like the boy who lost everything. I felt like the man who gained himself back. When people said karma takes its time, they were wrong. Sometimes it moves fast, like a quiet storm that destroys everything built on lies. I didn't have to do anything. Ethan did it all himself. Noah called me one morning, his voice buzzing with excitement. Turn on the news, bro. You'll want to see this. What is it? Ethan Cole, the golden boy, just crashed. I sighed.
Crashed how?
His father's company filed for bankruptcy. Fraud investigations, unpaid loans, the works. Apparently, the prince was using company funds for his personal show. I sat back. So the empire finally fell. Yeah, Noah said. And your ex-queen? She's nowhere to be seen. Lena? Lost everything. Friends, status, apartment. Even the car. It got repossessed last week. I stayed quiet. You're not gonna say anything? He pressed. What's there to say? That karma's got better timing than you ever did? I laughed softly. Maybe it does, he chuckled. You're weirdly calm about this. Because it's over, I said. Finally. But that wasn't the truth. Inside, it didn't feel like victory. It felt empty. Later that evening, I sat by my office window watching rain slide down the glass. My reflection stared back. Successful, steady, but hollow. I whispered to myself, so, this is what winning feels like. It didn't feel good. It just felt quiet. The next day, I got an unexpected email. Dr. Harper, my therapist from months ago, had sent a short message. Checking in. How have you been? I stared at it for a while before typing back, successful. But not happy, she replied instantly. Then it's time for another session. Her office still smelled like lavender and coffee. She smiled when I walked in. Adam Malik, she said softly. You look different. I am, I said, taking a seat. Different good or different numb? Both, she leaned forward. Tell me, I exhaled. Everything I wanted to happen, happened. Ethan's gone. Lena's life collapsed. My company's thriving. I should feel satisfied, but I don't. She nodded. And what do you feel? Empty, I said. Like I climbed the mountain and found nothing at the top. That's common, she said. Revenge is a short-term goal. Healing's a lifetime one. I thought they'd feel what I felt, I said. And they did. But I don't feel lighter. Because their suffering doesn't erase your pain, she said gently. It only mirrors it, I rubbed my temples. So what am I supposed to do with all this? Let it go, I laughed dryly. Easier said than done, she smiled faintly. Sometimes peace isn't about winning. It's about letting go of what tried to destroy you. I stared at her. I keep replaying it. The betrayal. The humiliation. I think about all the things I wanted to say but didn't. And what would you say now? She asked. I'd say thank you, I said quietly. Because losing them gave me myself. Her eyes softened. That's growth, maybe, I said. Or just exhaustion. Both can coexist, I sighed. So what's next? How do I move forward? By learning to live without needing closure, she said. You've already won. Now stop keeping score. That line hit deeper than I expected. I nodded slowly. When I left her office, the city felt different, brighter, almost forgiving. A few days later, I saw Lena again, purely by accident. She was standing outside a supermarket, holding a grocery bag with trembling hands. Her once perfect hair was tied back messily, her clothes simple, her eyes hollow. She saw me and froze. For a second, neither of us spoke. Adam, she said softly. Lena. She tried to smile. You look good. You don't, I said before I could stop myself. She looked down. I know, I sighed. That wasn't fair. It's fine, she said. I deserve worse. No one deserves misery, I said. Just the consequences of their choices. She looked up. Then I earned this. Silence hung heavy between us. I heard about Ethan, I said. She nodded. He left, disappeared overseas. He took what little I had left. I'm sorry, I said, and I meant it. She gave a weak laugh. Don't be. I'm finally seeing the world without filters. That's progress, I said. Not enough, she whispered. I wake up every day wishing I'd never hurt you. I looked at her. You can't undo the past, Lena. You can only stop repeating it. I don't even know who I am anymore, she said. Without him, without the attention, you're whoever you decide to be next, I said. She studied me. You're really over me, aren't you? Yes, I said honestly. Not because I stopped caring. Because I started healing. Her eyes filled with tears. You loved me so much. I did, I said. And that's why I had to stop. She wiped her face. You were always better than me. No, I said. Just luckier to learn earlier. She nodded slowly. Will you ever forgive me? I already did, I said. But not for you, for me. She smiled faintly. Dr. Harper would be proud. I froze. You remember her? You mentioned her once, she said. In one of our last conversations, I nodded. She helped me see things clearly. She must be good, Lena said softly. She is, I replied. But the real work was mine, she laughed weakly. Always the overachiever. I had to be, I said. Failure hurts less when it teaches you. We stood there quietly for a while. The sound of traffic filling the gaps words couldn't. Finally, she said, thank you for not hating me. I did. Once, I admitted. But hate's just love that stayed too long. She smiled through her tears. I hope you find someone better. I already did, I said. Her eyes flickered. Who? Me, that broker. She looked away, nodded, and whispered, Goodbye, Adam. I watched her walk away until she disappeared into the crowd. For the first time, it didn't hurt. When I got home that night, Noah called. Heard you ran into her again? Yeah, and? She's paying the price, I said quietly. Feel good? No, I said. It feels human, he sighed. Man, you've turned into a philosopher. Maybe, I said. Or maybe pain just teaches better than professors. He laughed softly. You're not wrong. After the call, I sat by the window again, watching the rain. But this time it didn't feel heavy. It sounded like cleansing. I thought about Dr. Harper's words. Peace isn't about winning. She was right. Victory didn't heal me. Letting go did. I opened my laptop and drafted a note in my personal journal. Forgiveness isn't weakness. It's release. Revenge feeds emptiness, but healing fills it. Then I closed it. No speeches, no announcements. Just quiet acceptance. The next morning, Mr. Khan called to congratulate me on another milestone. The company had crossed 1 million downloads. You should celebrate, he said. I already did, I replied. Just differently, he laughed. You sound lighter, Adam. I am, I said. I stopped chasing justice and started chasing peace. That's rarer than profit, he said warmly. Worth more too, I replied. When the call ended, I sat back and smiled. Not the proud smile of a man who won, but the calm one of a man who stopped fighting ghosts. I realized that day that betrayal had a price, but not just for the betrayer. For me too. The price was pain, patience, and learning to forgive someone who never asked for it, and somehow paying it was worth it. Years have a strange way of softening pain. They don't erase it, they polish it until it gleams like a scar that no longer hurts to touch. I stood in front of my company's glass tower, my reflection stretching across its surface. My logo glowed above the entrance, bright against the morning sky. Everything I had built, every line of code, every tear, every sleepless night, was right there. Sarah stood beside me, arms folded, smiling. You really did it, huh? I smiled faintly. We did it, she nudged me. You mean you. You're the one who turned heartbreak into an empire. I just turned pain into purpose, I said. It's cheaper than therapy, she laughed softly. Still joking your way through life. It's easier than crying through it. She looked up at the building again. Mom would have been proud. I hope so, I whispered. For a while, we just stood there, letting the silence fill the space between us. Then she said, So, when's your next big plan? Buy another car? Start another company? I smiled. Neither. I think I'll just live for a bit. Wow, she said, teasing. Adam Malik taking a break? That's scarier than your old heartbreak phase, I chuckled. I'm allowed to rest. I earned that much. Her phone buzzed and she excused herself to take the call, leaving me alone. I stared at the headquarters again, the place that once existed only in my imagination. A gust of wind brushed past, carrying the faint smell of rain. For a second, it felt like the world was reminding me that even success has weather. That evening, I got home late. My apartment overlooked the city, lights flickering like restless stars. I loosened my tie, poured a cup of tea, and sat by the window. That's when I saw it, a small white envelope on my desk. No return address. No name, just my handwriting on the front. For Adam Malik. I frowned. Sarah? I called out, but she wasn't home. I tore it open carefully. Inside was a letter, neatly folded. I recognized the handwriting instantly. Lena. My heart didn't race this time, it just settled. I unfolded the paper and began to read. Dear Adam, I don't know if you'll ever read this, but I had to write it. I owe you more than an apology, I owe you the truth. You were right about everything. Ethan's world was built on lies, and I became one of them. When it all fell apart, I finally understood what love really meant. It wasn't cars or gifts or attention. It was peace, and I threw it away. I'm working in a small cafe now. It's quiet, simple, and for the first time, honest. Sometimes customers talk about your company, about you.
I don't tell them I knew you.
I don't deserve to. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I just wanted you to know I finally see it, the kind of love you gave, the kind I didn't value until it was gone. I hope you're happy. You deserve that. Lena, I read it twice, then a third time. My eyes didn't sting. My chest didn't ache. There was just stillness, a kind of quiet understanding that only comes when you've already healed. Sarah came in a few minutes later, setting her keys on the counter. You look like you saw a ghost. Not a ghost, I said. Just a memory with handwriting, she frowned. Lena? I nodded. Do I need to burn it? She asked, half joking. I smiled. No, she already burned herself enough. Sarah walked closer. What did she say? That she's sorry. That she's changed, she tilted her head. Do you believe her? I do, I said. But it doesn't matter. Because you're over her? Because I'm not the same man she left. Sarah smiled softly. You sound free. I am, I said. Completely, she sat beside me. You ever think about what would have happened if none of that pain existed? All the time, I admitted. But then I remember, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be me. Do you ever miss her? I paused. Sometimes in small ways, like how someone might miss a song that once made them cry. Sarah nodded. That's fair. I folded the letter back carefully. She's working at a cafe now. Living simply. That's poetic, she said. She finally learned to brew what she spilled. I laughed quietly. You should write that down, she grinned. Nah, I got it from you. I stood up, grabbed my coat, and walked toward the balcony. I think I'll go for a drive. At this hour? She asked. Yeah, I need air. The night was cool. The city stretched endlessly before me, lights blending into the horizon. I slipped into my car, the same model as before, but somehow it felt lighter now. The engine purred. The road welcomed me. I rolled down the windows and let the wind brush past my face. As I drove, I thought about every version of myself. The boy who begged for love, the man who chased revenge, and the person now just existing in peace. My phone rang through the car speakers. It was Mr. Khan. Adam, he said cheerfully. How does it feel to be on the Forbes list? I smiled faintly. Strange. Strange good? Strange quiet, I said. The noise stopped mattering, he chuckled. That's how you know you've made it. When you stop chasing applause. Maybe, I said. Or maybe I just got tired of performing. Either way, you earned your rest, he said. You remind me of myself when I stopped trying to prove I was worth something. Was it hard? I asked. The hardest thing, he said. Until I realized peace is louder than success. We talked for a few more minutes before hanging up. His words lingered in the air. At a red light, I reached into the passenger seat and unfolded Lena's letter again. The handwriting looked softer under the dashboard glow. I whispered, I forgive you, but not for you, for me. Then I folded it neatly and tucked it inside the glove compartment. As I drove again, the city lights blurred, melting into trails of gold and white. I thought of that first car, that first heartbreak, and how the road had brought me here anyway. Every turn, every scar, every loss, it all made sense now. Noah called as I was nearing the highway. "Still driving like a philosopher?" I chuckled. "Still living like one," he laughed. "So what's the final lesson, Mr. Malik?" "That everything we lose teaches us what we're meant to keep," I said. "Deep," he replied. "You're sounding like Dr. Harper." "She'd probably agree," I said. He paused. "You ever gonna tell Lena you forgive her?" "No," I said softly. "Some words mean more unspoken." He was quiet for a moment, then said, "You really became someone, Adam." "I just became myself," I said. When I reached the top of the hill overlooking the city, I stopped the car. The skyline shimmered below, alive, endless. I stepped out, leaned against the hood, and breathed in the night air. I thought about that boy who once stood outside a parking lot, watching his world collapse. I wished I could tell him, "It's going to hurt, but it's also going to make you invincible." The wind whispered softly through the trees, carrying fragments of old memories, but none of them stung anymore. I smiled faintly and whispered, "Thank you, pain. You were the best teacher I ever had." When I got back into the car, I turned on the radio. A soft song played, something about forgiveness and freedom. As I drove down the empty road, I realized I wasn't chasing anything anymore. I wasn't the boy who watched his heart break. I was the man who built a new one from the pieces. And for the first time in years, that felt like enough.